Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phil the Conquistadork. I'm doing it again. I'm doing this response thing again because I want to be social. I need friends, damn it. This glacier I live on is lonely. And so today I'm responding once again to MichaelBTheGameGenie, whose Top 3 Tuesday today was the top 3. I'm not even going to pretend I'm not reading it off of my notes here because, Michael, goddamn, man. Top 3 Game Boy games that had a standalone entry in a classic series. And what that generally is trying to get across is the idea it's your top 3 Game Boy games that were released for the Game Boy and were part of a classic series, but it was the only one in that classic series for the Game Boy. You following me? It's a game that you played on the Game Boy. It was the only one on the Game Boy in that series. But it was part of something bigger. Just like we all are. So, I've prepared some responses. I've got 3 of my own entries in the whole damn thing. Before I get started, I'm going to... having some... $10 housewife wine. That tastes like settling. Let's start from the beginning with the only one that will also appear on Michael B's list. The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. This one seems pretty obvious. Not only is it one of the best Game Boy games that ever came out, if not the best, it's also one of the best Legend of Zelda games to ever come out. And it was the only one that came out for the original Game Boy. True story. I actually played this one long before I played A Link to the Past on the SNES, and this was actually considered a direct sequel to it, and they look very similar, and if you've never played both of them, I can see where you would assume that they were basically the same game, that the Game Boy version was just a stripped down thing of the same original piece of work, and kind of, but not really. There were enough changes and differences between this one and the SNES version that it really warranted its own entry in the series. Not to mention a weird and strange and original storyline, and the fact that you're not actually collecting pieces of the Triforce, you're collecting instruments. And the ending is weird as fuck, and it is a lot of fun. And my brother and I beat this game each about half a dozen times. We played it so much on road trips that one time we actually watched as the batteries in the back of the Game Boy exploded. They fucking exploded. I guess we were doing the little trick where you wiggle the batteries in there. I don't know if any of you have done this before, but you got your remote control and the batteries start to die, and you just roll the batteries a little bit, and that keeps them alive for just a little bit longer, and then you roll them some more. Don't keep doing it. Don't keep doing it, because eventually those things are gonna fucking explode, and you're gonna get battery acid on your jeans, you're gonna be panic-stricken at the gas station, your mom will be screaming, your dad's screaming, everyone's screaming, and it's your fault that daddy drinks. The next one on this list is Gauntlet 2, and I'm not sure why. Do any of us actually like Gauntlet? I mean now. Back in the day, I was obsessed with this game, and I have no earthly idea why. Now that I'm older and I've played other games and I've played all kinds of different genres of games, I know what makes a good game and what makes a bad game, particularly when it comes to the different years that it came out. And if you look at Gauntlet, especially with a modern eye, well, it's a gauntlet. It's a slog. It's just you going level after level, trying to kill things and look for an exit, and maybe up your score with some treasure, but don't worry, you can't buy anything with that treasure, it's just your score. And you keep going through level after level, and maybe you'll find a dragon, and you can kill that dragon after losing about 3/4 of your health doing it, and you'll get a potion that might make you a little bit more of a badass. Not a lot more, just a little more, and it'll keep you alive for another 5 levels until you finally fucking die and you throw your Game Boy at your mother's head, and she's screaming and the car's swerving and your dad's screaming and everyone's screaming, and it's your fault that mommy drinks. The final game on this list is going to be a bit of a stretch, and I'll explain why. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bionic Commando. I loved Bionic Commando for the NES. It's still easily in my top 10 games of all time. It's just fun. It was one of the first action platformers I had ever played where you didn't get to jump. The only thing you could do is use your claw to climb and swing, and I preferred that to jumping. There was such a grace to it, a feeling to it. It felt great to play. And it's just a fantastic game. And of course, it got a Game Boy entry years later, and they slicked it up a little bit, but otherwise, it pretty much remained the same. It had its own storyline, and it had some other features that were different from the original, but again, a lot of the same stuff. So why do I see this as kind of a controversial choice for the list? Well, Bionic Commando got a remake. I think it got 2, to be completely honest with you. But does that really make it a classic series? I don't know, but god damn it, top 3 Game Boy games that had a standalone entry in a classic series? What the fuck do you people want from me? It's a great game, a lot of fun. You don't get to melt Hitler's face at the end of it, and that's a bit of a bummer, but I think by that time even the Japanese realized, maybe we shouldn't make a game for 10-year-olds that ends with you melting a man's face, even if it is Adolf Hitler, because Adolf Hitler's an asshole, you know? You'd hit him, you'd break him out of his little robot prison, he'd go flying everywhere, he'd hit your mom, she's screaming, your dad's screaming, your sister's screaming, everyone's screaming, and that's the moment that you realized that it was actually Hitler's fault that daddy drinks. Oh boy. So that was a fun list. It was certainly engaging and challenging. Next time maybe maybe we can, I feel like we can add some more arbitrary things to this. Top 3 Game Boy games that had a standalone entry in a classic series that stars a character named Sam. What about that? Oh yeah. We can go down this rabbit hole. We're gonna do it together. I promise you. My name is Phil the Conquistadork. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, if you've got some ideas, some more things to add to this list, please do it. The whole old school point of this is that you are supposed to make a video response of your own. Let us know what you like. We're trying to build a community here. God knows why. God knows why. It's so safe and comfortable in my alone room. That's what I called this. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
If Daddy don't sink a little drinky, Daddy gets sad and blue. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you.